There's one of Hasan's moderators, the guy named Comrade Lamb, and he's been on his account calling me a pedophile. And I did a subpoena and got his information, his full information.
The fucking dipshit that got banned recently was actively trying to go to like the likes of Tom Cotton. But once again, it really doesn't matter until there is like a legitimate institution that actually gives these guys the credibility. They have no motion.
But you can probably say, like, you could say, oh, Twitch has probably lost more than half of its ad budget, probably close to 70% at this point. They have, and it's not going to come back until Dan Clancy steps down.
Maybe not even then, right?
Maybe not even then, because Twitch doesn't. It's just such a brand. It's so unsafe for ads, and it's completely Dan Clancy's fault.
So, it seems like Hasan thinks he has won in the adpocalypse battle against Dan Saltman. Dan was recently banned from Twitch for what they describe as extreme harassment, and possibly what's been described as doxing, after he released the name and the state of one of Hasan's mods and defenders on Twitter that has been making some pretty massive leaps and drawing some pretty crazy conclusions against him. Apparently, Dan was the founder of TinyChat, and that platform had received a $1.5 million donation from P. Diddy and Ashton Kutcher. So, by extension, this guy on Twitter is essentially saying that Dan is a pedophile and was ignoring sex trafficking on his platform for the benefit of P. Diddy. It seems like quite the reach to me. If there was something more concrete, I might be thinking differently about it. But as it currently stands, it seems like this guy was just trying to come up with some sort of crazy allegations as a dig to get back at Dan. And while I don't condone doxing, if none of this is true, I can see why he would release the guy's information.
I found there's one of Hasan's moderators, the guy named Comrade Lamb, and he's been on his account calling me a pedophile. And I did a subpoena and got his information, his full information. I'm gonna, it was quick, surprisingly.
Wait, really? You can just do that?
Yep.
And then he proceeds to say his full name and the state he's from.
No,
no,
you don't do that shit on my stream.
It seems like this was likely a retaliation because of Dan bringing up an old spicy story around Hasan having sex with a prostitute at a brothel that ended up being raided for possible sex trafficking.
By the way, the brothel thing is crazy because he openly admitted that he knows.
Let's pull it up on stream, what I know. I think we should. This is the brothel. There we go. Hell's Angel brothel raided by 900 officers, say the German police. Tax and custom investigators swoop in on Artemis, Berlin's biggest sex club. This is where Hasan said that he had sex with a prostitute, as authorities allege that women were exploited and possibly trafficked. More than 900 police, tax and customs investigators have raided Berlin's biggest brothel, charging it linked to the Hell's Angel biker gang and making 6 arrests. They detained 2 managers of the so-called nude sauna club, Artemis, and 4 madams in the raid, in which they encountered 117 sex workers and more than 100 clients. Prostitution is legal in Germany, but police charge that the 4-story brothel complex constituted a brutal and illegal system that severely exploited dependent women. Suck a dick, Hasan. I ain't no prostitute at a place that got raided for fucking human trafficking. You have, pervert-ass fucking old fucking motherfucker.
Was that they were fucking raided for tax evasion, basically. Like he's saying, like, it's fine. They weren't raided for sex trafficking, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep lying about it. Okay.
I just read the article, dog. Why don't you pull it up? So
when you watch this clip, the retaliation and the motives from Hasan's mod makes a whole lot more sense. But the funny part is how far they have to stretch the story to make it seem like Dan was condoning trafficking on TinyChat. Because it honestly only really looks bad because of the whole P. Diddy shit that's currently going on. But keep in mind that none of this is concrete and it's just an assumption. The Hasan situation, though, on the other hand, that just seems pretty definitive. The guy had sex with a prostitute at a brothel that was raided for sex trafficking. And just because Hasan keeps trying to sidestep the story and say that the raid was purely about some sort of tax evasion shit, the question is, why would Hasan's crew have to go to such lengths to combat Dan? Hasan has already said on multiple occasions this guy has no motion and that the adpocalypse isn't real, and that Dan is just unhinged and mentally ill. Well, when you go tit for tat with the guy, it just makes it seem like you're actually upset with his operation and that it's a whole lot more effective than you're letting it on to be.
Yo, that's hilarious, dude. What the Yo, he's so mentally ill. DGGers are smugly watching streamers freak out about losing like 80 to 90% of their ad income. It has been gross. Yeah, but it hasn't even really been happening. Like, that's the other thing. It doesn't seem like it's happening. I mean, you can literally see an ad on Laura Lux's stream while this is occurring, you know what I mean?
With the brand below.
My mom gonna be so proud.
Cheetos, official sponsor of J Balvin's Fingertips.
Like, do you see what I mean? Looks like Apple is coming back to do some advertising on Twitch. Interesting choice. What is this?
Awards scholarships to 98% of incoming freshmen, totaling over $57 million every year. Apply to DePaul University.
They bought an ad called advertiseontwitch.com, site that lets you understand how your ads might appear on Twitch. Dude, this is so mentally ill. This is so mentally ill. I don't think these guys understand that, like, the more they do this, the more advertisers can be like, you guys are freaks. But it seems like a lot of the content creators on this platform that aren't doing any sort of political coverage whatsoever have not experienced revenue loss from advertising at all.
Thoughts on the adpocalypse? There's no adpocalypse going on. Yeah, there's no adpocalypse happening. None of our ad revenue has changed. None of the ad revenue of any streamer that I know has been changed. I know that there was some problems with specifically certain tags that were on Twitch that people were talking about, but none of our shit has had problems. Yeah. None of it. Yes, there is. No, there isn't. You know what an adpocalypse means? Adpocalypse means the entire platform is getting shit on. Our ferret rescue runs off of ad revenue. Hasn't changed a dime.
Yeah.
Now, if Dan was really just totally ineffective and just mentally ill, why are you responding like this? Why are your mods creating a counter operation to smear Dan? I don't know, it just seems like a lot of effort for someone that is mentally ill with no motion. And does this mod not see the irony in making such leaps to draw Dan as someone condoning sex trafficking when Hasan was literally having sex with a prostitute at a place busted for sex trafficking? It just screams a smear campaign to take out the guy saying things you don't like. But, you know, I'll reserve my ability to think about this differently if any sort of concrete information comes out against him. But currently, it just seems like a retaliation. What I'm trying to figure out, though, is why the hell is Hasan celebrating? If this guy is totally ineffective and has no motion and is just mentally ill, I don't know. Can someone make it make sense for me? Please.
I love how your haters can't decide if you're a far left terrorist or a right winger. It's because my haters are almost always coming from very similar areas of the internet where they fancy themselves to be the perfect center. With the ultimate goal of trying to get me fucking canceled. So, you know, Monday it'll be I'm a horrific racist, and then Tuesday it'll be I'm too much of a fucking woke leftist liberal. I mean, the fucking dipshit that got banned recently was actively trying to go to like the likes of Tom Cotton and right-wing senators to expand on the anti-Semitism crusade so that he could bring on conservatives into the fray. He was like, he actually moved on from just simply attacking Twitch on the basis of anti-Semitism and wanted to also bring in right-wing Republicans and have Twitch go in front of Congress because of anti-white racism that Twitch was demonstrating. Anti-white racism and anti-conservative politics. Does that strike you as someone who's a liberal? Does that strike you as someone who's a serious person or a sincere person? And now he doesn't have to be a part of this like supposedly anti-Semitic website that he was so aggressively in pursuit of, including but not limited to like unmasking people that work at Twitch, combing through their fucking tweets, combing through every single log that has ever been logged in this chat to find personal information of people in my audience, going after my friends. It's on that Dan Freak is trying to take credit for you not playing ads anymore, Lamau. He doesn't know your contract expired many weeks ago. Yeah, that's also very funny because like I have very openly talked about how I hated fucking running ads to begin with. And while I still retain the position and the right to potentially run ads in the future, like I was not interested in running ads post my contract, which I think is very funny. Yeah, right. Yes, I know. You will never understand someone with real convictions. And that's precisely the reason why you always will project. You will always think I'm cynically advocating for the things I'm advocating for. Your favorite content creator will never say no to $1 million deal to advertise on this broadcast on election day. This is just like a principle that I've noticed online, is that so many people online personally think that the only way that someone can be honest or truthful is if they're being a scumbag. Like, we are stripped away of our humanity online so significantly. And everybody just thinks like, oh, that guy's a real guy. He's just saying it like it is. He's just saying things that I agree with. And the only way that people online can think that a content creator is authentic is if they're being a fucking scumbag, if they're being an asshole, if they're being fucking bigoted. It's so mind-boggling. And that's why I see this all the time from people, from my naysayers who are like, he doesn't really believe any of that shit. He's doing it for a fucking grift. He doesn't believe any of that shit. He must be saying it because he's audience captured. It's like, I built this fucking audience, man. Okay? Every single person in this community at a certain point had a firmly held conviction that was directly at odds with the way I see the world. Every single one. And that's normal. And there are still a shit ton of people in this community that don't see eye to eye with the way I see the world. Okay? And yet, you know, they can overcome that disagreement in opinion.
Isn't it kind of funny that Hasan's trying to make up this story that all of his haters come from like the depths of 4chan or something? And they all think that they're the political center. Because from where I stand, I see a whole lot of people from the right and the left that hate your guts. You know, if anything, you are drawing people from across the political spectrum to a center where they could both hate on you in agreement. And what's with this all about you retaining the position where you might run ads in the future? You know, that just makes it seem like all those rumors about you being demonetized over all this are actually probably true. And that you're just preparing for the day that you get remonetized to start running ads.
I'm curious to know if you have ever been demonetized for anything you've ever spoken, or till this day, do you...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the past and even like even now, like, not only have I been demonetized, I had the reason why that happened to you is partially a response to this like never-ending smear campaign that's been going on, I think, led by this dude who used to be on the platform, who's like permanently angry that he's never unbanned from the platform. So he just kind of made it like his life's mission to get the platform taken down now, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how he appeared to reveal that he was demonetized, then quickly shifted the conversation. It's almost like he realized he revealed something that he didn't want to. Now, I can't confirm that Hasan was actually demonetized, but the way Hasan said this in combination with him holding the door open to possibly run ads in the future just really makes you think. And if he is demonetized, and depending on how long that lasts, that could equate to millions of dollars of ad revenue if it ends up being any sort of extended period of time. Which, if you think about it, would explain why Hasan and his boys dislike this guy so much. You know, the guy that they claim has no motion and is just mentally ill. Gotta love how the principled socialist just holds that door open to run ads in the future when he claims he doesn't care about money and actually has principles.
This is Dan literally making threats about going after you in this community.
You know what's so fucked up is this little weasel rat. I mean, it's okay because I'm doing the same thing. See, this is what you guys don't get. This is what you don't get. You don't play the game. You don't play it strong enough. You're over here like, Dan, do not bring up that he went to a brothel. Yes, it was raided, but in the end, they didn't find enough crimes to shut them down. He has no issues clip chipping me. Okay? He's fine doing it. Why the would I not do it in return? Okay?
What is he talking about? Dude, it's getting completely unhinged and completely out of control.
Hey, he wants to like do out of context clips at me. You know what? That's 420 blaze it. Let's go. YOLO. Do it. Because you know what? There's not that many clips of me that you can take out of context. There's a few, but I got a lot that I can do for you. I'm winning this battle. So you know what?
He's literally openly saying, I'm gonna like actively pursue my defamation campaign. That's crazy. But his brain has just been so broken by being Destiny's Orbiter and his co-host on his podcast that he has been spending an unimaginable amount of time.
They fear me. You know why? Because I'm retarded. And remember I talked early on about the triangle of danger? I am the triangle of danger. Okay? This is it. I got all three. Okay? They fear us. They fear the triangle. And they should. They should fear the triangle. You should run.
What are you doing? No. Bro, this is so sad. Why are you doing this to yourself, man? Bro thinks he's an anime villain because he made like 8 cyber stalking websites to be like, we're sending mass emails to every advertiser. We're gonna take down Twitch. I'm the Joker. I am the one who knocks.
You should not say Voldemort's name because he will come after you. You should just sit there.
Oh, ew, Voldemort.
And be happy that I'm focused on Dan Clancy and just let me use you as the tool that you are to get to Dan Clancy. I don't give a shit about you. Just sit there and shut the fuck up. Do your terrorist propaganda. Let me get my regime change underway. And if you're lucky, you'll come out of this thing without any issues. Okay? That's what's going to happen if you're lucky. You keep fucking with me and I'll show you what I'm about. Okay? And what I'm about is effective action in policy and outreach and activism.
This is their Discord that they've been using actively to like send every advertiser on Twitch emails, like mass email campaigns being like, these guys are anti-Semitic. Like this Hasan guy, he's anti-Semitic. People are talking about how anti-Semitic Twitch is for mistakenly, in my opinion, like a major issue that I have with it as well. Unbanning Sneeko and Fresh and Fit only to turn around and make these call out posts from YouTube where those guys still stream. Anyone that posts this shit as a meme is obviously not, at the very least, they don't care about anti-Semitism. This is literally open, out and about, Nazi style coordinated smear campaigns where they're trying to just be like, oh man, I can't believe it. That's not what happens when platforms show extreme content. No offense, but you talk about rapes, etc. It's kind of inevitable. Dude, you're idiot. I am a news broadcaster. So is CNN. CNN talks about this shit too. They have a shit ton more ads than I do. I don't even have ads. They're not going after my ads. They can't go after my ads. I don't even run ads now that my contract is up. That's why they're trying to go after the entire platform for even hosting me.
You know, I'm not so sure, Hasan. You keep on making these veiled threats that you're going to sue Destiny and Dan for defamation, while your mods are literally engaging in what appears to be a defamation campaign in retaliation against Dan. But honestly, I would love to see the lawsuit from either side, because I'm pretty sure in Discovery we would all find out some pretty interesting stuff, especially from Hasan's side. And, Hasan, if you were smart and actually thought this guy was completely ineffective, then you should probably just be laying low and not responding to every single clip and statement this guy makes about you. You are literally throwing kindling into the fire and giving him more reasons to keep the pressure on. It's just going to make this adpocalypse that you think isn't happening continue. And if the Twitch adpocalypse really isn't happening, why are people that run literal ad agencies like Devin Nash not agreeing with you?
But you can probably say, like, you could say, oh, Twitch has probably lost more than half of its ad budget, probably close to 70% at this point. They have, and it's not going to come back until Dan Clancy steps down.
Maybe not even then, right?
Maybe not even then, because Twitch doesn't. It's just such a brand. It's so unsafe for ads, and it's completely Dan Clancy's fault, literally. Like, he did. Why would he invest in the shit he did? Like, every single person, I think, inside of Twitch and outside of Twitch said, why are you spending all this resources on this join at, like, the knock to join thing that no one's used ever, right? Think about all that resources that could have been going into having ad targeting on correct channels or all this other. It's crazy to me.
Word, dude. I'm so on board with you. Yeah.
I think the thing we don't agree on, like, I retweeted your thing and you said that you think that they should get rid of politics. The problem is I don't think it's sustainable, because you're still going to have people like Steve that would play StarCraft and talk about shit while he's doing it. I think the solution just has to be a actual unbiased trust and safety team that has real rules. Like, it works on YouTube somehow. Why does it work on YouTube? Because they're actually unbiased. Like,
but because they're machines.
Yeah, and they're, well, that too, right? They built out their tech. Yeah.
So I guess, like, this is the thing, like, I want to, like, bounce off you, right? Like, I feel like it's actually impossible for Twitch to have impartial moderation. Like, actually, unless they build a CDN. Like, if
here's
but they've
the
had
thing.
10 years to do that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's impossible to do it. I think it's possible to get close, because there's ways that you can do it. So first of all, we can both agree that right now it is the opposite of impartial.
100%.
You would agree with that? The problem is, I think that if you make it equal, actually, right? That first off, that's good. It's good for the platform, but you can still do stuff that, if it's not perfect, right? Here's the whole thing. I think it's okay, believe it or not, if you get banned by mistake. Okay, like, if they ban you because you said something that was a little bit unhinged, and you get banned for a day and you put in an appeal, I think a good idea is that, like, maybe you can pay money if you think you're actually wrong. Okay. Can I ask you, what is so rotten inside of Twitch's culture that the employees haven't made a statement? Let me forget that part. How incompetent is the CEO that they're not making a statement, as every day they're bleeding more advertisers? Maybe they would be like, okay, I got to step down before I destroy this company.
Yeah, it's a great question.
What is going on? Why?
I don't know. I wish I knew that. That's a really good question.
Like, I feel like if I was Dan Clancy's boss, I'd be like, okay, let's see. First thing everyone always does, let's wait this out. It might just blow over in a day or two, right?
Yeah.
But now you're seeing it's not blowing over in a day or two. Now it's only getting worse every day after every day. At what point do you say, you got to go, bro? You're fucking going to destroy this company. But you want to put some money on how long you think Clancy will last? I mean,
no, because I'm going to lose. You're too scary, dude.
I have no idea either how long he'll last, because he could, for instance, Twitch could announce tomorrow that they're looking to divest of the company and Dan Clancy will remain as CEO until that happens, and that could be like a year, right? I have no idea. They could do that. The question is, how do you think it'll be, over or under 3 months? And I think it's under.
I think it's under too. I would not take a bet against you. I think people had taken a bet. Didn't the XQC take a bet against you?
Yeah, and he did 6 months.
He's a madman.
Yeah, I gotta say, that doesn't sound like a man that thinks the adpocalypse isn't happening. And out of all the people that have talked about this situation saying it's not happening, and it is happening, he is easily the most qualified person to say what's actually going on. So, Hasan can celebrate about Dan's ban from Twitch, even though he was literally in the process of deleting his account and doing a data request for it. But if anything, I probably just think that this ban is just going to make him fight harder. I don't know, that's just me. Alright guys, I said my bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content like this, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here. Peace.